We have the rebirth of Venus that has just happened. We have Mars descending into the underworld, and a surprise comet could be bringing us divine intervention. I am Tammy Antoinette. I am from thestarqueen.com, and I'm a sidereal astrologer. I practice ancient Babylonian and Mesopotamian astrology. It is a very rare astrology that's practiced these days because the ancient texts were just recently interpreted by astrologers. So if you'd like to know more about the type of astrology that I practice, you can see my video titled, "What is Ancient Sidereal Astrology? What is Babylonian Astrology, and why do I practice it?" So, although Venus is still retrograde, she's now visible as a morning star. I saw her above the eastern horizon Sunday morning as she rose to approach her second of 3 squares to Jupiter. And this is really good news. Whenever Venus rises as a morning star, she is in her phase as well, the modern stories, we have the mythological stories or the ancient documented stories from all different places in the world, and it's all the same story, but as a society we're more familiar with the Greek story of Athena. So Athena was literally, the story goes, she was birthed from her father's head, and she was she became the goddess of wisdom and the goddess of righteous war. She's always been used for business, for strategy. It's a great time to wait until she goes direct in September, and then it's a great time to start your new business endeavors with the feminine leader Athena watching over us from her morning position. And I invite you to go out and watch Venus rising in the morning sky and watch Sirius rising in the morning sky. We've got this beautiful, auspicious Venus rising at the same time as Sirius rising, both as morning stars in the sky. Of course, Sirius always rises in the morning sky in August, and I made a video about that, about Sirius rising. So I invite you to see that and learn all about this beautiful star that's so important to us, and why you need to be watching the heliacal rising of these stars, and what good things you can take into your soul by watching the morning stars, Venus, Sirius, and the sun in particularly. So Venus is beginning her new 9.5-month cycle as in her morning star phase, and at the beginning of our spiritual new year, when Sirius rises. So it grants us benevolent new beginnings of prosperity, love, abundance, higher values, and it's aligned with the greater good of all. So it is a good time to celebrate. And after Venus goes direct in September, after September 3rd, it's a good time for new beginnings. So the beginning always shows the whole. So the moment of the birth, just like whenever you took your first breath, all the stars were aligned perfectly to represent your very specific, individual, authentic soul blueprint, and everything that you came here to be and do and have, and your highest potential and your struggles and your challenges, and how to even get through those. And whenever these stars are birthed in their heliacal phase, after they were descended beneath the rays of the sun, and then they were birthed anew in the sky, and we got to see them in a new in their new life cycle, then the beginning, everything that we see connected to that moment marks how that whole cycle is going to be. So Venus was birthed in Cancer, squaring Jupiter. So So since she's the reflection of our values, our love, our friendships, our finances, our resources, our prosperity, we look at her to see what's in store for us in these areas of life. She's birthed into Cancer, which is bringing us blessings collectively to our homes, our families, our emotional nature, what makes us happy on the inside, and our ancestors and our roots. It's a great time for us to get connected with our ancestors, to look back and see what values we have taken with us and what beliefs we have acquired from these ancestors, what made us into who we are. It takes a lot for just one person to be here. It takes so much in the ancestry, so many people coming together for you to be who you are. So it's a great time to really dive into that and research that and honor that in yourself. And it's also great timing while Venus is still retrograde to recapitulate any limiting beliefs and revise and rewrite any old patterns that you may have picked up from your ancestors that may be holding you back. Maybe you can see how these have actually helped. These certain beliefs have helped your ancestors and how it's helped you, but then now it may no longer serve you anymore. And you may want to rewrite any limiting beliefs that may be holding you back. So it's a great time for that, for working on revising. And this can help your whole legacy going forward also, so that your children don't have to carry these patterns on, and it doesn't have to continue through the lineage. And then of course honor those beliefs that do make you stronger and upright and do fuel your lineage and strengthen your lineage and make you into who you are. So Venus is birthed squaring Jupiter in the sky, and Jupiter is very generous, open, and opportunistic. He's the energy of faith and gratitude, and also of overindulgence. So when we lean into cultivating gratitude for our family, our roots, honoring the simple fact that this is where the spark of life came from, and that we would not have our delicate gift of life without our family, our parents, our ancestors, and the full experience of all human emotions, then this is when we experience growth and evolution in our good fortune, in being gifted with greater abundance in love and prosperity, in friendship, in so putting together the Venus and the Jupiter in Cancer, that's pretty much how we want to use this time going forward, especially now, and how it will fuel us and uplift us during the next 9.5 months of Venus's new cycle. So it's a good time to make changes in how you decide to focus more on gratitude, faith, and optimism, and creating these new rituals, new cycles for yourself, new daily rituals. So this change will help us to up level in all areas of life, and it's going to especially bring more good fortune for this entire new Venus cycle and the spiritual new year. So we do want to be careful not to overindulge or fall into lazy patterns, because this Venus square Jupiter, and Venus is gonna slow down to go direct, and then Jupiter is also slowing down to go to direct. So they're actually going to be squaring each other for about a month, all into September. So it is a good time to celebrate and be optimistic and embody all these good values that nourish us, but also it could be we want to watch out that it's not too much on our pocketbook. We're not overspending or overindulging or becoming the big fat happy drunk. So, and we have the descent of Mars. Mars has already gone down into the underworld, so burned out by the rays of the sun, where we can't see him in higher latitudes to where I am. He's already gone down late July, but here in Texas, in my sky, he's still over in the sunset. I can still see him, and he will be going hidden by August 30th here. So you'll already see the manifestations of the descent of Mars at higher latitudes than Texas. And then we will see him, we will see this here coming pretty soon. So women are going to be doing much better now that Venus is bright in the sky. However, Mars is going to be down there for a longer than usual underworld journey. So he will not pop back up in as a morning star until late February here in Texas, and even as late as later in May in closer to the poles. So he went down in the constellation of Leo in some places, so he would be affecting those in places of leadership. So Mars going down into the underworld, so he's not retrograde, but he's traveling with the sun for quite some time. And he can be deceptive and underhanded and passive aggressive. Men could be, we want to watch out for any, be mindful of any shadow masculinity coming up, like, or men just not stepping up into their divine masculine, men being more docile, passive. So that could be the manifestations of Mars in the underworld. So in Leo, this can affect people in places of leadership. And so we can already see that happening in the sky. And then a couple days ago, he went into Virgo, which could be representing a health, an attack on our health and our sciences, opposing Neptune. So it would be even more deceitful and underhanded, and we may not even realize what's going on. So just try to stay out of a state of fear and be sure you have good boundaries and take good care of your health. Be intuitive with your health and with your scientific research. What you see as true or not true could be deceptive. There could be some deception going on there. So that'll be for a while through September, October. So yeah, an underhanded passive aggressive attack or a war on our health and our sciences. And since what else? Let's see. Yeah, so it could bring upon any amplification of any deception and corruption that's already happening on the planet or that has been happening. So the good news is that while Mars is in Virgo, Venus will be harmoniously aspecting in a 60-degree angle, which is called a sextile, which gives us the opportunity, if we use it, if we decide to be as wise as Athena and diplomatic and strategic during this time, then we won't be, it's less likely than that we will fall into the deceptive problems of Mars, and it'll soften the meanness. So I wrote more about the invisible heliacal phase of Mars in my blog post also. So if you want to subscribe to my blog, you can actually get this news, get the predictions earlier straight into your inbox, and you won't miss anything. So you can go to thestarqueen.com/blog or click on the link in the description below. I'll leave that for you. So we have a surprise comet, Nishimura. An amateur astronomer saw this comet in the sky August 12th over in Japan. And so it appears from our observation to be projected from the constellation, from the point of the sky where the star Sirius comes from. And it was spotted in the constellation of Gemini, where it is now. And it's predicted to travel along the sun's ecliptic from Gemini through Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and then to get burned out by the sun. If it lasts that long, comets are unpredictable, of course. So the constellations on the ecliptic are a direct reflection of the human soul. So this comet, Nishimura, has appeared in the region of the sky that represents the more high vibrational spiritual leadership of humanity and of the more of a benevolent, bright bluish green color. So we see comets as green or blue, and this is more bluish green. So the ancients would actually fear comets because they always brought on unexpected events and create sudden changes. But we have lately, of course, experienced much heat, fires, unexpected events that were predicted from observing the points of the past two new moon cycles of July and August. And you can watch those videos titled July new moon and August new moon, if you'd like to see more about that, and fires and earthquakes and the upheaval in nature that was predicted for our summer. And and then, of course, with Venus moving back and forth in the underworld over the Leo Cancer transition from the extreme polarities of water and fire elements, while she's in conflict to Uranus, the Great Awakener, who's in fiery Aries. So a lot of disruption, but things should get better. That'll pass, of course. And so Nishimura is predicted to be at perihelion, which means that he's the nearest to the Earth around September 13th through the 18th. So that's when we should be able to see him in the sky, they say, with the naked eye, or better so with binoculars. So if he makes it to this point without burning up first, he will be at his strongest then in the constellation of Leo. So I can see that this can bring us a change in leadership. And if he makes it into Virgo, then it'll be a change. It'll bring us a change. And I see it as a change as more a benevolent divine intervention in our health and in our sciences. So Mercury's retrograding right now. So Mercury went retrograde today, August 23rd, in the constellation of Leo as an evening star. He went invisible and retrograde. And he will be birthed again as a morning star and turn direct September 15th. So August 23rd to September 15th, we have Mercury retrograde. So just Mercury goes retrograde all the time. It's not bad, but we just want to be mindful to allow extra time for travel and be more patient and articulate with communications and with anything technical, right? So it's a good time to the retrograde periods are simply a time of integration, of revision, of reflection, rather than forward momentum in the areas of life that each planet influences. So remember, Venus is still retrograde, so it's not a good time to like have a wedding or start a new relationship or a new partnership right now. Until that goes forward. And then with Mercury retrograde, it's best to not sign any contracts or do any important technical writing, or you may just have to go back and revise it later, but it is a good time to revise these things. The retrograde periods are very important stepping stones for our evolutionary process. So Mercury retrograde is a time for reflection and revision in how our thoughts, our communication, our technology is affecting our lives, and to allow extra time with our travels and to even revise these things. Take extra time to take extra care of your technology and be mindful of how you're treating it. So Mercury retrogrades very often, and he's invisible most of the time. He's literally, he's the archetype within us that is the magician, the trickster, the comedian. Whenever he's aspecting Mars, or if he's more of a neutral planet, he's not like benevolent or malefic, but he can kind of go both ways depending on what else is happening in the sky or in an individual's birth chart. So he could be the con artist, he could be the swindler, he could be the thief, right? So he's very, very powerful though. And if you're ever fortunate enough to see Mercury in the sky, then he will bring a blessing to your mind. So that's some food for thought that the ancient astrologers know, because it's very tricky to see Mercury in the sky. So I'd love to know how you're experiencing these cycles, and I invite you to leave me a comment below, or subscribe to my blog, or both. Subscribe to this channel. And if you are a woman who strives to live her highest dreams and desires on purpose, aligned with your soul's authentic gifts, under this support system of the divine masculine container of the cosmos, and be a true embodiment of your innate divine feminine genius, so you to really up level your life into what you know you have the potential to be, and maybe you have something holding you back, some kind of setbacks. There's a better way in business and leading your family and leading yourself as the leader that you are, in an inspiring, evolutionary, growing relationships, and you desire deeper connection and friendship with other like-minded women, then I invite you to click on the link in the description below for the Astrology for High Achieving Women Sisterhood, and request to do that. So it's only for women who are in a leadership position and desire to have this, be able to go with the flow of the support system in a better way that serves you. So I will see you next time whenever I report on the full moon on August 30th. And stay blessed and be joyful.